Hello, and thank you for joining us today in our study of the book of Psalms. Today we are in Psalm 141. And in this particular psalm, you have David who is once again going to be asking for God's help. But it's not just going to be a matter of David wanting God to take care of those that are against him. It's also going to be him asking God to help him in what he does and how he responds. So let's look at what David has to say in the 10 verses of Psalm 141. Beginning in verse 1, we read, Lord, I cry out to you. Make haste to me. Give ear to my voice when I cry out to you. Let my prayer be set before you as incense, the lifting up of my hands as the evening sacrifice. Set a guard, O Lord, over my mouth. Keep watch over the door of my lips. Do not incline my heart to any evil thing, to practice wicked works with men who work iniquity, and do not let me eat of their delicacies. Let the righteous strike me, it shall be a kindness, and let him rebuke me, it shall be as excellent oil. Let my head not refuse it, for still my prayer is against the deeds of the wicked. Their judges are overthrown by the sides of the cliff, and they hear my words, for they are sweet. Our bones are scattered at the mouth of the grave, as when one plows and breaks up the earth. But my eyes are upon you, O God the Lord. In you I take refuge. Do not leave my soul destitute. Keep me from the snares they have laid for me, and from the traps of the workers of iniquity. Let the wicked fall into their own nets, while I escape safely. As you look at this psalm, there's several different factors or several different things that we could spend a little bit of time examining today. But I want to pull out just a couple of them and hopefully help us to see some things that are important for us to remember as well. The first one is found in verse 3, where here, as David is calling out to God for help and crying for God's assistance, he asks God for something that many times, especially in our world today, we find to be a little bit different. Because he says in verse 3, Set a guard, O Lord, over my mouth, keep watch over the door of my lips. Here, David is asking God to help him keep his mouth shut, to set a guard over my mouth and keep watch over the door of my lips. You know, we live in a world where everything that we think has to come out of our mouths, where no matter what happens, no matter who's done it, no matter what we think or how we feel, we've got to make sure everybody knows about it. David here asks God to help him make sure that he uses his mouth correctly and that he knows when to speak, but that he also knows when to keep his mouth shut. He goes on to say in verse 4, Do not incline my heart to any evil thing, to practice wicked works with men who work iniquity, and do not let me eat of their delicacies. The idea here is don't allow me and my words and my actions to be like those that are causing me so much grief and so much trouble. You know, it's one thing for us to deal with people who do things that are wrong. It's another to become just like them and to respond in the same way. And yet, so many times we have the tendency for that to be our immediate reaction. Is if you've done something to me, I'm going to respond to you in kind and give you a little bit of your own medicine. David asks God here to help him make sure that does not happen. But then down in verse 5, we have a second thing that David asks God. He asks him to let the righteous strike me, it shall be a kindness, and let him rebuke me, it shall be as excellent oil. Let my head not refuse it, for still my prayer is against the deeds of the wicked. Here David says, if there is rebuking that needs to be done, if he has done something wrong, let the notice of it come from the righteous, not from the wicked. It's one thing for someone who is striving to do what is right and who is has their heart in the right place and is simply looking out for your well-being to come up to you and say, "Hey, there's a problem that needs to be fixed." Or, "I'm concerned about you. Have you thought about what you're doing?" Than it is for somebody who has no interest in your well-being, simply scattering and laying out all of your faults and all of your shortcomings. David says, "If I've done wrong, let the righteous strike me, and it shall be a kindness," because it's not done out of wrath and malice. It's not done out of the purpose of trying to bring someone down, but rather to lift them up. Nobody likes being told that they're wrong. But if it needs to be done, we would much rather be by a friend that loves us and cares about us and wants to see us do what's right than from someone who only seeks our demise because they hate us. And so you have here David's asking for the righteous to step up if he has done something wrong, and the righteous to tell him and to rebuke him for his wrongdoing. But then in the end, in verse 8, he says, "But my eyes are on you, O God, the Lord. In you I take refuge." David in this psalm is seeking help, yes. He is seeking God's assistance, but it's not just, "Hey, take care of the wicked." It's, "Help me be who I'm supposed to be. Help set a guard over my mouth. If I'm doing something wrong, let the righteous let me know about it. Have the righteous let me know about it so that I can fix it and make it right. But in all things, my eyes remain on you." That should be our heart and our sentiments as we go through life. The desire to do what's right, the desire to make sure we're walking appropriately and we are acting in a way that we should, but also the desire to have those who love us and are seeking what is best for us to be the ones who come and point out when we're falling short of that. These are the things that I see in Psalm 141. I hope that they're beneficial to you. Thank you so much for watching the video today, and next time we'll come back and we'll look at Psalm 142. I hope that you'll join us then. But until then, have a great day.